I mentioned that in my last video I was able to put minimal effort into it, and that is because I was focusing my maximum effort into this video series that's taken me well over a month to make, partially because of super busyness, also because a little bit of health problems came up, but I'm doing well, don't worry. But of course, this is 225, as you can see. Actually, it's 226. You'll see why when we get there. I don't think the 226 should really count, but if I'm going by my criteria, I am including it. But I'm finally ready to present to you every single goalie mask worn this season, ranked worst to best. And this is based off the front of the masks, and the sides, of course, and the top. Don't worry about that. It's basically just everything that's not the back part of the mask, because I was not able to find the angle to see every single back part of every mask, which is unfortunate. But that means my ranking is based off the front parts, and so the back will not be taken into account. You might see a few of them, the backs of a few of them, just based off the pictures I have, but those are not taken into account in the ranking. It's just the front parts. And yeah, there's so many goalies that have multiple masks. Freddie Anderson, you did not you did not make this easy on me. And it's every goalie mask worn during the 2022 and 23 regular season and playoffs, because Freddie Anderson specifically had a mask for the playoffs as well. Thank you, Freddie, for making this so much harder than it had to be. It wasn't just Freddie. Like, there's a bunch of goalies that have a bunch of masks. In fact, there are very, 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 very few goalies, I think the minority of goalies, that only have one mask that they used this season. So yeah, there's a lot going on, because again, there's like 226 things to rank here. So yeah, we'll get into it without further ado. And the one that I don't think should really count is number 226, and that is Keith Kinkaid, because he just had to wear a blank mask because of a trade, and he was not able to wear his mask that he actually had designed for being on the Colorado Avalanche. So yeah, of course it ranks last because it's nothing, but yeah, it shouldn't really count. So really we're ranking 225 goalie mask designs. And at number 225, which you can call dead last, really, we have Michael Hutchinson with his Columbus Blue Jackets generic mask design. And really, it just, to me, looks like something out of EA Sports NHL, just like the generic mask that the goalie wears for his team. It's just not much going on. I'm not sure what went on here in the design process, if he just needed a generic mask. Like something really quick, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's just, if this was the design choice, or maybe he just wanted to not spend enough as much money on it, I'm not sure, but it just comes out looking like the most generic looking thing ever. Way too much white on the top, obviously. Number looks generic, and then of course just two logos of the Columbus Blue Jackets on the side. Not great, not great. At 224, I have something that I already know that somebody really, really likes, and so them seeing it this low might really not be great for them. I've got a comment about this one being a really good one, and in my eyes, it is not. It's just too boring, and I know they're trying to go for a kind of a retro look, kind of a shout out to a goalie of, you know, the past, but I just still think it's too generic. You know, you can make tributes, but sorry. The Gilles Meloche mask from Marc-ANDRÉ Fleury, I think, is too retro for its own good. And so that's really why it's so low. It's just, there's not much going on there. And so even though there's a W on the side of the mask, it does not get a W from me. 223, I have Sorokin's All-Star Game mask. And again, just not something that I just like at all. You know, I feel like it could be so much better. It again looks kind of generic, And yeah, you just plop the All-Star logo kind of on the side, and you have the pink fisherman kind of a silhouette there. And I feel like it could be so much better if they actually had the fisherman himself popping up. It would already be better, but I don't know, just not great. And one of the things you'll see is there's a lot of Dave art masks that kind of congregate near the bottom, but there are still some very good ones. Dave Art, I feel like, from what I've seen at least, is the #1 supplier of goalie mask designs in the NHL. And so I wonder sometimes if he's stretched himself or his team, whoever is involved, too thin. And so some of his masks are just not great at all. Some of them are very good. But I feel like there's just not enough time that's able to be given to each mask for it to come out really well, and so you will see a lot of kind of Dave art designs near the bottom as well. 222, I have Jackson Stauber, and you'll see a few of these come up sometimes. It's basically down here so far because it's an AHL mask, but this is kind of the worst of them. Or sometimes you'll see some college masks based on some emergency goalie things that came up, because I did include them as well if they actually are credited with an NHL game, having played in an NHL game. But Stauber, he got, I guess, called up from the Rockford Ice Hogs, and basically that's his mask, is just 2 Ice Hogs logos on the side. His nickname there is nice. You know, overall I think it's better than the ones before it, but again, it doesn't get too high on the list because, yeah, it's just the Ice Hogs, plus it's also just the Ice Hogs logo on the side. So it's not too exciting that way. There is, you know, you see some Blackhawks kind of feather work in there, but still, it's not that much. 221, I have this generic Jets one from David Rittick. Kind of an unfortunate one. He has some better ones that he wears less often, because this is kind of his home and away mask that he wears with the Jets, whereas the Heritage one he has and the Reverse Retro one he has do look a lot better. But yeah, this one kind of suffers a little bit. Just looks extra generic. And yeah, the Jets on the bottom, yeah, that's probably the only thing that I kind of like a little bit about it. But yeah, that Jets word mark on the top and just the overall, there's just not much going on there. It just doesn't rank highly in my eyes whatsoever. 220, I have Jack Campbell, boring Oilers jersey. Yeah, one thing you'll notice as well is if there's like the team name going down the side of the mask like that, like basically just taking the team's word mark logo and just plopping it on there, that is not something that'll rank highly in my eyes almost ever, unless there's something else really exciting going on. But here it's not the case, really. I mean, even the oil drops in the middle are just kind of like not even that standoutish. They're just kind of this similar color, just a different shade of silver or gray as the bottom of it, or I guess you can call the bottom of it white a little bit. The 2 oil drops on the sides don't do too much, and so yeah, you'll see another version of this that's a little bit higher, and it does a little bit of a better job with it, but still not gonna go too highly either. I call this the boring oil because I thought it was pretty funny, because they were the oil people, workers, you know, they bore holes and stuff like that. So boring oil, because it's also boring. So it's a play on words that I just thought I'd explain to you so you'd actually notice that I said something remotely funny, even though now that I've explained it, it's probably a lot less funny. Either way, we're going to move on to number 219, which is Dylan Ferguson's Fergie mask with the Ottawa Senators. And yeah, another kind of generic thing. I do like the scroll that says Fergie, or the banner, whatever you want to call it. But other than that, it's like, yeah, generic, very generic. Too much white space on the top, just a big logo plopped on there. A bunch of the S logo just kind of like plopped onto the sides. It's just really not got a lot going for it. 218, I've got Levi Merlinen, his kind of another generic Sens mask that we have here. Again, Senators logos plopped on the sides, a S logo on the chin. This one I think I just personally like it a little bit better because, I don't know, I feel like the kind of mohawk like arrows that are like going down the middle there, I don't know, to me it adds a little bit to some design. It takes away from that white space in a little bit of a better way. But again, there's just so much white space up there. It's just so generic, and I just can't have it very high. 217, I have the other Jack Campbell one, so it's a little bit better. There's a little more color there. The oil drops are definitely a lot better than the other one, where they're, you know, nice and burnt orange. I call it the twist because I like how it looks even more like the numbers on his chin are twisted in a little more, but still, again, not a logo that's going to rank too high. 216, I have James Reimer's reverse retro mask. There's a few sharks on it, but like you don't even barely really see them that well. And yeah, another one that's kind of feels generic. It feels like there could have been better stuff done. On the Dave Art graphic here, it says Optimus Rhyme. And really the only Optimus Rhyme stuff you see are just little tiny sketches of, you know, the semi-truck that's Optimus Prime kind of in the stripe there. It's just like, there's not even much to do with that on here. And so, really not a wonderful one in my books. 215, I got MRAZEK's it says Blackhawks Supreme, but I just call it supremely generic because, again, another kind of those generic things. You know, there's two logos. At least they're kind of just an outline on the side, so that adds a little bit of style to it. I do kind of like how the bottom it's just done a little differently, how Blackhawks is not just on the sides, it's on kind of the bottom part, and then the number is a little smaller on the chin to just kind of help you see the Blackhawks letters a little more. I kind of like that a little bit, so it's a little higher, but again, just kind of a generic thing. Just put the C with tomahawks on your top of your head and just kind of put a few logos on the side. Yeah, it's just not one that I particularly like that much. 214, another one of those kind of reverse retros for Minnesota that are a little generic. I like this one better for sure. I like the numbers on the side. I think that's kind of cool, but again, you're not going to rank too highly doing stuff like this in my books. 213, I've got Connor Ingram's, and this one's technically not the right one in the Dave Art graphic, because technically I'm counting the stickers that he put on, the little Arizona Coyotes stickers. I guess he never actually played a game this season while wearing this Predators mask with the Predators, and so he's wearing it with the Arizona Coyotes, and he's put a couple stickers on there to it doesn't really cover that much, but it tells you, oh, I'm on Arizona now, I'm on Arizona now, if the jersey already didn't tell you that, if you can't see. But yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, and also I misspelled this. Blue Pen Skate is what I named this apparently, but because I come up with my own names sometimes, you know, like Lines of Preds. That's what Dave Art calls it. Well, I don't know. That's probably a better actually name. Oh, well, don't even pay attention to my names anymore, I guess. 212. Another one. Another Blackhawks Supreme. This one I like a little better because I think it looks better with the outlined Chicago Blackhawks logo on the top. I think that's a better way to do it, and put the C's on the side, but still, just it's quite generic and it could be better. The Lightning is a decent touch, but again, not going to rank too highly in my books. 211, I've got another kind of generic one. This one, again, I like the silver line that kind of is thick on the top there with the S. The Ottawa Senators logo is outlined. I like the numbers at the bottom, but again, you're not going to rank too high with this kind of generic stuff, which is really kind of where this bottom worst video is going. There's going to be a lot of kind of generic stuff near the bottom, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, I just feel like, again, that Dave Art kind of maybe stretched too thin, and so yeah, you're gonna get a lot of more generic ones, a lot of ones that yeah, just don't look as nurtured and just like stylized and artistic at all, you know. So yeah, 210, I got this one's a little better, but again, I'm not a big fan of the Devils kind of word mark logo on the sides. I think that hurts it, but again, it's a little better than the others. I mean, the logos on the top, they're arranged in a decent way, I guess, but still, again, not an amazing mask by any means. 209, I have another one with kind of those name word mark things on the side. Not big on those, but the Florida Panthers logo helps it somewhat. There's still a lot of white space on the top there. But, and it's also, like, I love the Leaping Panther logo. It is my favorite logo in sports, but this is kind of the more corporate version of that as well, which I'm not as big of a fan of as I am the real one. And so, yeah, I don't know. One thing that I will say is it is kind of cool. It's hard to notice, but it is kind of cool to see that little lion on the sides. That is a nice little touch as well, because his name is Lion, Alex Lyon. Do you get it? Haha. So yeah, 208, I have Justus and Noonan in his Mile High mask. Another one that's kind of got the name on the side that I'm not a big fan of. I do like, and this is why it's up a little bit higher, I do like that he put the Mile High numbers on the top. I think that's a nice touch for Denver hockey, because Denver is the Mile High city, and so that's pretty cool. But again, not gonna rank too highly with me, and yeah, I don't know. It's just not quite enough, you know. 207, I've got MERZLIKINS, and this is another kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit better, but first things first, I don't really consider myself a big fan of the Columbus Blue Jackets main logo at all, like whatsoever. In any fashion, actually. It's one of my least favorite logos in the league, the Columbus Blue Jackets current logo. I much prefer the Canon, but anyway, instead of what I don't like, what I do like about this is I really like how he put his number in the target. Like, I'm the target. Hit me, not the net. Hit me. Anyway, I don't know what that's about. But I do like the target. I think that's a nice touch to put his number in the target like that. So that is why it's a little bit higher, even though it's, again, one of those kind of like, put the logo, just paste it on the side. Well, this one's not really as pasted as some of the others. This one's kind of worked in, at least, artistically a little bit more. So there is that as well. But again, mostly this number, like, higher than the others because of the target on his chin. 206, I got Jonas Korpisalo. This one I kind of like better than the others, but still, it's just too bare at the top. And again, this is one of those ones that's kind of a transition mask. This is what he wore like right when he was traded to LA, and he actually got, I think, 2 more at least masks once he was in LA, so he did upgrade from this. This was, again, more of a transition mask. But even for a transition mask, if this is just a transition mask, it's actually a pretty good one. And I think even just putting the simple little things like, let's make it, you know, silver on the bottom, black on the top, put a little bit of film there, put the number on, put the 2 logos on the side. I mean, 2 logos on the side, you know, it is what it is when it's a transition mask, so it is going to be low. But I think for a transition mask, they did a good job. And it actually, there is something about it that I do kind of like, but again, can't rank too highly because of that. 205, another one that's kind of like, let's just throw, it's not really the name on the side, but the NP on the side, just 2 logos plopped on the side there. And even the top part, Predators, not an ideal design in my eyes, at least. So yeah, 204, I got STALOCK's what is it, Blackhawks Passion. This is one that I look at, and I like how colorful it is in a way, but it just looks very, honestly, again, this is one of those comments about Dave Art being stretched maybe a bit too thin. It just doesn't look very well designed. So it's high because it's nice, or higher because it's a little bit nicer, a little bit more colorful. But again, like, let's just throw some paint things on there, you know, some yellow paint splash, and let's just put some more logos on. Let's just make them a little bit more different, so it's a little different. It's just not good. I feel like it's poor design, and so even though there are a few things that make me put it up a little higher than the others, I think it's just poor design. 203, I've got James Reimer's White Sharks logo, his away, or logo, sorry, design, mask design, and his away mask, and honestly, it's just boring. Like, the reason it's high is because Sharks, like, you can make a generic Sharks thing and it'll look good because the Sharks logo looks good and it's something, right? It's something on the mask. There's a shark on the mask, but other than that, like, this is almost as boring as you can get. Like, I like it better than the one he had for the reverse retro, but yeah, it's it's just so boring. The sharks are not colored in, and it's just white, and it's a sketch. It's yeah, I can't do it. And again, the Optimus Rhyme is just, you know, a couple little sketches of trucks. You know, it's not my favorite thing whatsoever. It's not even close. 202, I've got an utter joke. Okay, I know the Otter's on here. It's something. It's a personal touch because, of course, right, his name's Ottinger. They call him the Otter. But why is he playing golf? Why on earth is he playing golf? Like, it's almost just like, at least he changed from this. This is his mask at the start of the season. So he did switch. He's wearing a different one. The Otter looks similar. But why even, you know, come up with a design where it's like, my goalie mask is a golfer? Like, that just screams, like, I don't know, like, it just, I don't know, it just screams, I'm not a playoff team, I'm a golfing team. I don't know, it just, it has bad connotations in the hockey circles, just like in a non-playoff team or a team that gets kicked out early, going golfing, right? I just don't understand why that would be part of a hockey mask. And so that's why it's so low for me. Not that I'm not a huge fan of the Otter, the way that Otter is designed, but it puts it even lower, the fact that it's a golfer. And then our last one of this video, 201, we've got another kind of generic Sharks one. This time it's Kaapo. And yeah, this one again, it's Sharks, so it kind of automatically moves up because there are Sharks on it, but again, they're so generic that it can't go that high at all. And even the Sharks on the sides, I just feel like they're not placed there very well. They look like thin nose things. I don't know. Just maybe the Barracuda almost. I don't know. But it's just not great. So with that, we'll cap this off. And tomorrow, I will be sharing with you the top 200. Well, 200 to 276 is what it's going to be. So that was the first 25, the bottom 25 masks, really 26 if you want to count everything, because I'm counting every single goalie mask worn during a game this season. And so technically Keith Kinkaid does make the list, but again, should he be there? No, it's really the bottom 25. So with that, I'll sign off, and yeah, if you want to give this video a like, please do. Please like this because, like, oh my goodness, this took me absolutely forever, and I'm so glad that it's finally coming to fruition. I'll tell you a quick story here. I recorded this. Right now I'm recording it on Saturday night after the Florida Panthers Vegas Golden Knights Game 1. But I originally recorded, and I tried to do it all in one shot, 3 hours long. And that was on Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday night, and it was... It turned out my audio was like, it just had this kind of beeping noise in the background. I was charging my microphone. I was doing it. Don't ever do that. Don't charge your microphone when you're using it. That's a problem. So I learned that, and 3 hours of wasted recording later, and a day where I can find that I can record again. We're back. And so, yeah, if you want to give this video a like, if you do like it, please do, because... wow. Everyone says the notification bell stuff. I don't really care about the notification bell, honestly, at all. I never do it. I don't want to get notified about stuff. I'll just like tune into YouTube when I tune into YouTube. But yeah, give it a like. If you want to comment on what masks you like, go ahead. Or which one of these is your least favorite, sure, go ahead. Am I right in putting the other one last? Yeah. Oh, that Hutchinson mask is just not well designed. But anyway, yeah. See you in the next one. See you tomorrow.